Okay, I hope that quiz wasn't too bad. Let's go ahead and go through the answers. Number one, the results were aberrant. So that means they were unusual or atypical or strange. They deviated from the norm. So the correct answer is E. Number two, the students promised to abide. That's good. That's a good thing. It means they're going to follow the rules. They're going to do the homework. They're going to listen to the teacher. They're not going to talk in class. When I was a kid, we used to pass notes in class. This was before smartphones and all that crap. We would literally write the note on the sheet of paper and like pass it. It was a long time ago. So the correct answer is going to be A, obey. Number three, his bravado is almost always evident. Bravado is machismo, somebody who has a lot of swagger. It's not always a good thing. Sometimes it's bluster, which is kind of like false arrogance. But of the five choices, the best one is going to be A, boldness. The callow response surprised us. A lot of people confuse this word with callous, which means like unemotional or cold. Callow means naive or immature or innocent. So the correct answer is going to be C. So those are the first four. Number five, they were forced to capitulate. Whenever you capitulate, you have to give in. You basically have to surrender. Think about in ancient history, there was something called siege warfare, where the army would camp outside the walls of a city for months at a time, sometimes years at a time, until the city capitulated, gave in. Of the five choices, yield is going to be the best choice. Yield, of course, has multiple definitions. One of those definitions is to surrender. Number six, he needed time to cogitate, think, reflect, dwell on, ruminate. So the correct answer is going to be D. Number seven, her deportment caused concern. Now, this is not deporting like you deport somebody to a different country. This refers to somebody's behavior. So the best answer is going to be conduct. Notice that the stress is on the first syllable. We're not saying conduct. We're saying conduct, which just means behavior. Number eight, he was known to extemporize. Think about a person who plans something with no planning. I know that's kind of an oxymoron. Somebody who does something completely improvisational, off the cuff. So the correct answer is going to be B, improvise. Like, for example, I am extemporizing right now. I did not plan anything I'm saying right now. Number nine, it was a factious assembly. This one is pretty easy to memorize because just think of the word faction. Like, think about what a faction is. It's a separate group. So if the assembly is factious, it's going to be split. It's going to be divided. Number 10, it was a fallow period of history. This is typically an agricultural word. It refers to land that is uncultivated. It has no crops on it, barren. But if we're talking about a period of history, it means dormant, quiet. There wasn't a lot going on. So the correct answer would be D. Is that true of any period of history? It seems like there's always something going on. Number 11, the bold move was a feint. It's a ruse. It's designed to throw the opponent off balance. It's a trick. So the correct answer is B. Number 12, it was a flagrant display of behavior. For you basketball fans, there's something called a flagrant foul, which is a foul that's like really bad, really conspicuous, really obvious. So of the five choices, it's going to be shameless. Basically, it's like violating social norms in kind of a way. 13, the gesture was gratuitous. So in the movie industry, they have something called gratuitous nudity or gratuitous violence. It means that in the story, it's a nudity or violence that doesn't really serve the plot. It's not really doing anything to the story. It's only there for spectacle or to attract people who are maybe not interested in the plot so much. So the correct answer is going to be unnecessary. 14, she was groveling on the floor. The way that I like to think about this is if somebody is trying to get forgiveness of something, they're kind of like on their knees, they're begging. So the best answer is going to be crawling. 15, the comment was indecorous. The noun is decorum. So whenever we have something called decorum, how do you spell decorum? I think it's like that. That means politeness. So if something is decorous, that means polite. If something is indecorous, that means rude. So the correct answer is B. 16, the palace was full of intrigue. Now, intrigue is kind of a confusing word because, of course, if you are intrigued by something, you are interested, or if something is intriguing, it is interesting. But that's not the only definition of intrigue. The noun version of intrigue means like conspiracy, plotting. Like think about Game of Thrones, when people were in the back alleys of the palace, planning to, kill the leader or something. Game of Thrones. Great show. Ended season 7, season 8, best seasons of television anyone has ever seen. Yeah, I really missed that show, especially the later seasons. We can all agree that the first 4 or 5, 6 seasons, not very good, but season 7 and 8, ooh, peak television. 17, it was a nominal amount. Again, another word with 2 definitions. If your title is nominal, it means in name only. You don't really have any power. But if we're talking about the amount of something, it means a small amount. He's an obdurate person. Obdurate is a person who likes to block everything, or a person who you cannot change their mind. They're like a fixed wall. So the correct answer is going to be stubborn. I feel like we're all obdurate these days in our highly polarized political climate. 19, the kids were obstreperous in the car. So basically they were out of control. Like kids in the back of the minivan, they're throwing trash everywhere, they're screaming, they're playing on the iPad, etc., etc. 20, we should not tolerate odious actions. This doesn't have anything to do with smell. I guess maybe, odor, right? But that's more about smell. Odious is a little bit more general. It just means something that's disgusting, revolting, repugnant. Like if you see, a decaying animal or something. Or if we're talking about odious actions, we're talking about actions that are so bad that there's really no excusing them. 21, the plucky decision raised eyebrows. If you have a lot of pluck, you are brave. So plucky means you're brave. So the correct answer is going to be courageous. She was a precocious child. So this is a child who in some ways presents themselves like an adult. If you watch a lot of movies, you'll see precocious children because we tend to think it's funny or like cute. Take, for example, the movie Jerry Maguire. The kid actor in that movie was very precocious. Take, for example, Lady Mormont in Game of Thrones. Very precocious. So basically a child that acts like an adult. But that's not really the only meaning. It can also mean like very gifted or intelligent, like a child who's very good at the piano. Think about Mozart or something like that. Mozart was able to play the piano at like age 3 or something. Let's discuss the remuneration. That is, let's discuss the money, the compensation. How much are you paying me for this YouTube video? 0. So the remuneration is 0. His speech was slovenly. Again, it doesn't always have to be speech. It could be like appearance, but it's very unorganized. It's very messy. It doesn't give a good impression. Moving on, 25. The actor enjoyed soliloquies, which is not surprising because the actor is the only one talking, and if the actor likes fame and attention, then that makes sense. So the correct answer is monologues. Sarah enjoyed spurning others. I'm not sure why she enjoyed this because it's a negative thing. It means rejecting others. I think Sarah needs to go to therapy. He had a stolid expression. This means essentially emotionless. Like you can't even read this person's face. Now, vague could possibly be the right answer, but that means more like unclear. That's not exactly what stolid means. Emotionless is going to be the better answer. Only she had the temerity. So if you have the temerity to do something, you're doing something kind of bold or something that is risky in some way. So the correct answer is only she had the nerve to do that, which again means like the boldness or the shamelessness. Last 2, the connection was tenuous. Think about a tenuous grip. Imagine you're climbing a mountain or holding onto a bar. If you have a tenuous grip on the bar, that means you could fall at any moment. It's like a loose grip. So the correct answer is going to be weak. And then finally, he did most things with verve. Whenever you do things with verve, you do them with passion and energy. So the correct answer is D. So that's group number 30, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to be putting up additional groups here pretty soon, and I will talk to everybody later.